Most of us are familiar with I++. That's one of the first things that we learn in programming, whether we're creating a for loop or just learning about integers. It's essentially no different than writing I equals I plus 1. But that's not the only way you can set I to I plus 1. You can actually also do plus plus I. The first one is known as the post increment and the second one is known as the pre-increment. While both of these essentially do the same thing of incrementing I by 1, the way that they do it in assembly is different, and I++ in some cases actually costs one extra line of assembly, and that's what I want to talk about in this video. Suppose you say int a equals I++. When you use the post increment operation, it actually ends up setting a to whatever the current value of I is, and then it increments I. After completing this statement, a will equal 4, and then I will equal 5. Now, if you do the pre-increment, it's a little bit different in that it will first increment the value of I to 5, and then it will set that value to be b. After completing this statement, I is going to equal 5 and b is going to equal 5. There is a difference between what these two things do. I think it would be helpful to look at the assembly that is generated from this code. So I've got the assembly for this code we've stored right on main. It's setting the I variable to equal 4. Now the important thing to look at is these two operations, the post increment and the pre-increment. So let's go to the next line in the assembly by pressing NI. The reason I set I equal to 4 like this is so that we can clearly see the number of instructions, the number of assembly instructions that are generated by this I++ operation, as well as this plus plus I operation. Let's just look at how many instructions are generated. We're setting I equal to 4 here. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 instructions are going to take place to complete this line of code, which is int a equals I++. That's 5 lines of assembly. And if you look at the next one, which is right here, you're going to notice that in this situation where we set int b equals plus plus I during the pre-increment, it's actually 4 operations of assembly. Let's see what's going on. So we're loading RBP minus 4 into a register called EAX. Then we're also going to copy this same value into ECX because we have to set the value 4 to A. That's what the I++ operation dictates. That's essentially the definition of I++. It's a post increment. You have to increment it after setting the value. So in order to set the value of 4 equal to A, we have to create a copy of this into another register. So we have to store 4 in ECX, and we have to keep it another copy of it in EAX. So then you're going to realize that we're adding the value 1, which is exactly what the post increment operation is going to do, and that's going to be added into ECX. So let's go to the next line, right? I'm going to go to the next instruction, and next instruction once more. Let's print whatever's in ECX. So in ECX, we've got the value 5, but what's in EAX? In EAX, we've got the value 4. So what's essentially happening is that we need to keep the value 4 because we need to store that value inside of A. So if we go to the next line here, what we're seeing is that I is getting incremented, right? RBP minus OX8 is what I is supposed to be. And we're putting ECX into that, and we know that ECX contains 5. And if I go to the next line, EAX contains the value 4, and that's what we're going to set to RBP minus OXC, which I can only presume is going to be the value of A. So if I go to the next line and pause right before setting I equals 4, if I print I, we're going to see that it has the value 5. And if I print A, we're going to see that it has the value 4. So essentially, we have to create this extra copy right here. Let's go through the pre-increment just for completeness sake. So I'm going to go to the next line here. Now that we've set I back to 4, let's see what B is going to be set to. So notice that there's one less instruction here. We're not doing this movel EAX to ECX because we don't need to keep a reference to the previous value of I, right? In this case, we needed to say that A is going to equal 4, and we need to store that value 4 somewhere, because if we increment 4 to 5, we're going to lose the value 4 because it's not going to be stored in any register. But in this case, in the pre-increment, when int b is set to plus plus I, we need to first increment it and then store it in b. So when we first increment I, we don't need to keep a copy of whatever I previously was. There's one less instruction right here. We're going to just add 1 to EAX, so we're not going to store any sort of extra register. And then if I go to the next line and next line, you're going to see that we are setting the value RBP minus OX8. This is the location of I on the stack, and RBP minus OX1 1, 0 is the location of B, presumably. And we have to set EAX to both of them. We don't need to keep a register called ECX. We could just store the same value that was in EAX for both of them. Go to the next line, go to the next line, and now let's print B. And if I print B, we should see the value 5. If I print I, we should also see the value 5. So in this case, B is equal to 5, I is equal to 5. In this previous example, we were setting the value of A and B. The post increment actually needed to save a copy of whatever I is before it got incremented so that it could store that value into A. But in this case, the compiler realizes, oh, you don't need to store that value. When you're doing I++ and ++I, you're not actually storing that value anywhere, so we can just get rid of that copy. This is the first line setting up in the assembly, and if I go to the next instruction, you're going to see that it only takes 3 instructions, right? I++ is only taking 3 instructions because it's not doing that extra copy. And same for ++I. They're both just taking 3 instructions, and we could see it clearly because we could say that, okay, RBP minus 0x8, that's the value I, putting that into the register EAX, then adding 1 to whatever's in EAX, and then storing it back into I. So after completing all these 3 instructions, I should equal 5. So let's go to the next line. Next instruction, next instruction, next instruction. Now let's print I. Yep, exactly. I is equal to 5. And once again, the same thing happens here. It's only 3 instructions. We're moving the variable I into EAX so that we can add 1 into it. And then we're going to put that result back into wherever I is on the stack. So if I do ni 3 times, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and then I print the value I. It should be the value 6. The compiler knows that I++ is not being set to any value. You don't have to store a copy of it, right? Because you're not saying like, A equals I++ or something, right? So because of that, the compiler is smart enough to just kind of get rid of it behind the scenes. I guess the TLDR is that in some cases, you're going to want to use the post increment because you want to save a copy of the value of I before you increment it. But in other cases, it's not actually going to matter what you do. The generated assembly ends up being the same. And yeah, that's what I want to talk about in this video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button and consider subscribing for more C++ deep dives just like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.